Welcome back to another episode of Real Estate. About half a year ago, I spoke to experts about the impending hike in residential rents at the time. And so far, their predictions have proven true. The market seems to have swung in favour of landlords in recent months. In fact, many exasperated tenants have taken to social media to share their experiences about their lease renewals, some seeing a doubling of their previous rents. In this episode, I'm going to look at how the current rental market is affecting the affordability for locals and expats. First, we're going to speak to Alan Chung of Savills to find out how the market has performed in recent months.
In 2022, rents, if you go by the URA rental indices, went up by approximately 30+%. But that was exceeded actually in 2007 when rents went up by more than 40%. And all that came about when the stock of rentable properties wasn't enough to meet the incoming demand. They got forced out to as far as Jurong East. The rents have gone to a level that ate into their consumption and their affordability. They had no choice but to move further, particularly those with families. But for the singles, not so much of a problem because they may just go down to a smaller apartment or live in a co-living premise in the luxury districts or the prime districts. Interest rate is just one of the factors that would motivate the landlord to adjust the rents up. But the greater determinant of rents is demand and supply. The demand from tenants is pretty strong since the second half of 2022. And the supply side in last year was pretty tight because of the pandemic-induced delays in the new construction. But last year, Singapore's rent started to escalate due to two factors. It's lack of supply and the sudden influx of foreigners. In the short run, I don't think that's really that much of a problem. People will just accept it. But in the longer term, you will see a reordering of the kind of processes that multinationals take into account when they need to hire overseas nationals. Increasingly so, many of the foreigners that come here, they are on local plus packages, and they need to foot the rent from their own pocket. Higher rents means they may not be able to afford to live here. So over the longer period of time, there are some that I know are moving out into the regional countries. I definitely think it's a one-off thing. Moving forward, rental increases, I think trend line-wise will be more subdued. And in fact, for this year, if there's any increase, it's likely to be front-loaded to the first 2 quarters of this year. There's a chance that in the second half of this year, rental may soften, but overall, we may still see rents rising for the full 2023 over 2022.
According to Alan, median rents of some city fringe properties have increased as tenants who previously lived in central region properties are now priced out of these regions. But have these landlords with properties in the central region been able to find replacement tenants that are willing to accept the higher rents? To get an idea of what the market is like, I reached out to Jack of Sotheby's International Realty to get a snapshot of what's happening on the ground.
I'm Jack. I'm from this International Realty. I specialize in residential leasing and apartment sales, mainly focusing on Sentosa Cove and good class bungalows. The past 2 years after the COVID lockdown, a lot of tenants actually feel the need to upsize the space that they're living in. And a lot of Singaporeans are also coming back to Singapore. And that actually pushes the demand for homes upwards, and the supply has actually gone down. So that is why prices has gone up. It's actually been easier to find replacement tenants, even at a higher rental price. A lot of tenants understand that the market has gone up, and some of them are willing to renew because they don't want to go through the hassle of moving up. And I do see that a lot of people are still looking for rental homes even at this kind of prices. Mostly expats they're relocating from overseas or have been in Singapore for some time. We have French, Americans, Australians, British, Chinese. This is because a lot of MNCs are setting up their headquarters in Singapore, and a lot of expats are coming in, from different industries, manufacturing, banking, IT, etc. I do sense that it's slowed down a little for the area that I specialize in, which is good class bungalows rental. The demand for rental homes is still healthy and very active. These listings are very rare. Supply is really low, so they get taken up very quickly. I think it would be quite the same. A lot of expats are still coming into Singapore, so there is still going to be demand for these rental homes in the next year.
We heard from Jack what landlords and tenants are looking for, but let's look at a real-life example to find out what's hot in the rental market.
Welcome, Tim.
Thanks, Jack. What can you tell me about this unit you're marketing?
We are on the 45th floor of Marina Bay Suites. We are in the heart of Marina Bay area. This is a 3-bedroom unit. The size is 1,600 square feet.
And what are apartments in this size and this area going for these days?
A typical 3-bedroom unit in the Marina Bay Suites actually cost around 11,000 to 13,000.
In terms of tenant profile, what can you share about that?
I would say the tenant profile is usually expats who are working in the area, so commuting to their workplace is easy and there's a lot of amenities as well.
Is this something you say that they're looking at?
Yes, this is a modern apartment, and for a 3-bedroom unit, most of the time they prefer to rent it partial furnished, which means it only comes with appliances like the fridge, the washing machine, oven. And usually they prefer to have no furniture so that they can have their own furniture come in with their own style.
And what about the smaller units like studios and 1-bedrooms?
Most of the time, it's rented out to tenants who are single. They don't have their own furniture. So yes, they would prefer to have the furnitures come with the house.
We heard from Alan why rental prices will remain high for the first half of this year, but moderate over the next few quarters. We also heard from Jack what are the expectations of landlords and tenants, and why landlords feel so confident asking for high rental prices. Both of our contributors say that the rental market will remain hot, but it remains to be seen whether this market situation will affect the housing affordability of locals and expats. Once again, thank you for watching another episode of Real Estate. Real opinions, real statements.